Alright, you filthy animals, I'm Hugh, and this is Swordhaven, the Iron Conspiracy. It's a new episode, and let's just jump right into it. Quick recap, you're on a boat sank, picked up a necklace from an old wizard dude. Wizard dude wants us to deliver it to some people. We found a town called Clamhaven, we're walking around exploring. What's this yellow dot? Miggle. Oh, nope, other side. Oh, you're running. Everything alright?
Whatever you wish.
Do you like my tunic?
Curtsies.
Can you believe it used to be Das Traveler?
That was, in fact, not Miggle. Your appearance doesn't stop the woman from doing her chores. Oh, I've already talked to her. Okay, let's go into this person's house. Are you a child? I don't want to accidentally talk to a child, because they don't say anything in this game. Farmhand. The broad-shouldered peasant lad waves to you. Well met. How goes it? Same old. Just passing through. Traveling, eh? Lucky guy. He sighs and crosses his arms. You're heading to Swordhaven, right? Why are you asking? Just want to know your plans. These gosh darn roads are as dangerous as a drunken barbarian these days. Too bad, because I do intend to visit Swordhaven. Well then, here's a piece of advice for you. Keep your ear to the ground, but out on the thoroughfare. There are gangs and ne'er-do-wells roving the countryside. They're mostly bark and no bite, of course, but some are real tough sons of Cert. I'm not saying that you're faint-hearted, but there's no shame in running if you're outmatched. The farmhand thinks. Even better if you can find a caravan going your way. It's much more fun to travel with good company. Do you know when the next caravan's leaving? No. Things been what they are with bandits and monsters on the prowl. Caravans are scarce. Hopefully that'll change, but he scratches his head. I wouldn't count on it. Why don't you show me the way? There's strength in numbers. Man, I can't. I got myself into some trouble not long ago. Master even had to bail out my sorry butt, or I'd have ended up in the stocks. The stocks? How scandalous. I'd love to hear the full story, if you're willing to share it. Well, see, me and my mates from the local farmhands were out about near Swordhaven, and, well, we had a whole afternoon to kill, so we went for a couple of pints in the tavern, and that's when some towny roughnecks decided to try giving us a bit of hazing. Called us goat fondlers and inbred yokels and yada yada yada. Word for word, a fight broke out. Darn, if that was you being harassed, what would you do? Trust me, I'd make 'em my friends in a jiffy. Well, I doubt it. Those louts were cruising for a bruising. And so anyway, I punched one of them right in the fizz, and just like that, a brawl started. Fists flying, the innkeeper whacking everyone in sight with a broom. Pig even got involved in the skirmish. But the only fellow the guards managed to grab and lock up in a barn was, you guessed it, me. Why just you? Well, I'd had too many ales before the whole mess started. The rest of the fellas evaporated right when the guards burst in, but I was too busy yelling threats and smashing things to play 'em any heed. Obviously, he didn't escape. Good gracious, that's unlucky. Well, you're telling me. They wanted to put me in the stocks, and you know what could happen when you're forced to kneel there for days and worse. Nights. Face down, butt up. I mean, I don't know personally, but I've heard the stories. But thankfully, the village elder bailed me out the next day. God bless that man. He was making a delivery to Swordhaven Fish Market when he heard about my troubles and came rushing to help. Now my only wish is to repay his kindness. Considering he probably had to compensate the innkeeper for the damage you caused, that could take a while. Yeah, I guess that's the whole story. Is there a lot of work in the village? Sure, there's work aplenty. You looking for a job? You seem to be the fighting sort. Try your luck at killing those two big lizards down by the shore if you haven't already. Would you mind answering some questions for me? Nah, I'm not much for answering questions. You better talk to them other villagers. Very well. Goodbye. I'll see you later. Going to the chapel and we're gonna steal everything that's not nailed down. And even if it is nailed down, we're just gonna lockpick it somehow. I can't carry a tune, but that doesn't matter on YouTube. Wealthy peasant. A burly, middle-aged man is staring grimly at a clay bottle. of some local hooch. However, when he sees you approach, a sparkle lights up his wary eyes. Good day. Don't just stand there. Perch down and help yourself to a drink. What's the occasion? Ah, he waves his hand. Life's be life. Rugged and weathered, this one seems like the sort who works a lot and speaks little. It obviously paid off for him since his clothes are clean, well kept, and even somewhat fashionable, though in a provincial kind of way. Alright, poor. The peasant descends into a small cellar to return with a plate full of pickled beets and marinated herring. Then he fills a cup from the clay bottle and offers it to you. His cup is already full. Small Bacoca. Good stuff. Let's drink. The drink is clear spring water, and its winey odor is as strong as the handshake of a hard-working fisherman. You arch one brow and return the smiling peasant's gaze. What are we drinking to? Peace and Nova Draconia. What else? Works for me. Nope. You exhale and down the fiery liquid in one powerful gulp. Good thinking. He grabs a piece of herring with one hand, fills the mug with his other. Another one. I want to propose a toast. The peasant looks at you expectantly. I thought he would agree with this since he's well-to-do. I said, let's drink to our financial success. Aye. Cheers. Cheers. You both empty your mugs simultaneously. Ah, that hit the spot. Care for a refill? Go ahead. Here you go. He places the cup in front of you. Anyway, what brings you to the village? Chance. Pure and simple. I see. The burning liquid goes down smoothly. Judging by your drinking companion's flushed cheeks, the liquor is being kind to him as well. He grasps the bottle to fill your cups once more. But this time, only a single drop falls. Why, I guess we're out of smug fog. Oh well. Thanks for the company, friend. Can you tell me who's sovereign over this coast? Well, that'll be Hyde Whitelot of Swordhaven. Us and the other local villagers are paying tithe to the dragon cult, as is the law, and as all the faithful should. Other than that, everyone under His Holiness's rule are free men. Now, as for folks living under the hill of them noble families, well, that's a different tale. The poor buggers are as skint as the temple's rats, and can't even leave their homes without Lord's permission. All in all, a miserable bunch. What do you know about High Wait-A-Lot? His Holiness Father Algamant sailed from the mainland some years ago. Never met the man myself, but folks say he's a clever fella. The peasant scratches his ear. Can't say life's changed all that much with him in charge. And if you ask me, that's a good thing. At least them priests know not to milk their flock completely dry. Serfdom is kind of dreary, if you think about it. Aye, it is. The peasant frowns. Us free folk honor our Lord, not because we have to, but because he protects and cares for us, as the dragon and his gods ordained. Exactly. In the Empire, serfdom is slowly being abolished. Eh? He waves his hand. Enough about that. We all have our fate, the Loma weaved. No point in discussing how things are, how they should have been. Can I ask a few questions? Oh, I've got no appetite for tittle-tattle. Got it. Keep your wits about you on the road. I think I gave that guy like 5 different voices. Okay, do a little Savorino, because I am overly cautious. Which is better than being not overly cautious, I say. Otherwise I wouldn't be doing it, obviously. I am so turned around in this game, I don't really know where I'm going or what I'm doing. Kind of like real life. But if I talk in upspeak, it doesn't sound as bad. Angry man. The lengthy, boozed-reeking man tenses up and grasps the dagger tucked in his belt. By the eyeless worm, what do you want? Calm yourself. I just want to talk. No, I'm pretty intimidating. I'm gonna be silent. What are you looking at? He spits on the dirty floor. Get your butt out of my house. You better curb that smart mouth of yours when speaking to a member of the nobility, else it might cost you. Well, slap my scraggly butt and call me a dog plower? The man bows clumsily. Terribly sorry, Your Excellency. I didn't know. What's your problem, anyway? Arr, I'm sure it's nothing of your interest, Your Excellency. How do you know? Maybe it is. Nay, trust me, it's not. Can I ask some other questions? Nay, Your Excellency, I don't feel like gabbing. Can you at least tell me your name? Or do you really need to know? The man rolls his eyes. Oh, fine, call me Aldar. Somebody told me you killed your wife, Aldar. Bull honky! He glares at you. I loved Wanda, you hear? She died on her own, from some blasted disease. He clenches his fists. It's all that crooked witch Delarani. She's spreading these rumors about me. Why would she do that? Well, I don't know. The blimmin' hag is just quarrelsome that way. Anyway, I have nothing to add except this. Don't believe everything folks say. Maybe Delarani can explain it. Anyway, see you later. The gin-soaked peasant sighs and looks away. Then we save, and then we go sneak mode, and then we pickpocket, and then we take his key, and his dice, and his pipe, and his antidote powder. That's a little sketchy, bud. And then we go walk over here. Gonna open this chest that I assume the key went to. We got some gold, lockpicks, more dye, amethyst, weak poison. I think this guy might have killed his wife, y'all. Okay, I'm gonna take it all. We're gonna close it. I'm gonna take his boots. Then we're gonna leave. I don't trust that guy at all. Also, my face gets so itchy and hot under this mask. Let's equip some stuff. I don't really want to equip her with anything, because last time she just bailed on me. Okay, potions. I'm good. Ingredients. Oh, it's multi. Okay. Special. Books. Other. Armor. Oh, there we go. That's what I was looking for. We have a leather cloak. Oh, can I not equip it because I have this chain thing? Yeah, it looks that way. Unfortunate. Okay, quality, awful. The current hat is mediocre. It gives me +7 persuasion. This gives me knockdown resistance. Studded boots, mediocre. Subtract from stealth, though. Oiled boots. Oh, yes, please. Felt hat. More outdoorsmanship. Funnel cap. Damage threshold. Where are we going? What are we doing? Who we seeing? What we hearing? We're hearing Kieran Culkin, but not really. It just rhymed. Mukau? Oh, I'm still sneaking. I'm going to stop sneaking. I'm going to talk to the cow. Unfortunately, it's not a Larian game, so I don't have Pet Pal. Another picnic basket. Oh, and another person to talk to. I'm going to hit the save button. We're going to steal their picnic, because we're jerks. Now we're going to talk to this guy. Elmed, the scrawny, middle-aged fellow gazes morosely at an old fishing net. He perks up as you get near. Greetings, I'm Elmed. Don't believe I've seen you around the village before. Elmed has been bronzed everywhere by the sun, and his fingers are long, like that of a Solonian zither player. I'm humorous. I just washed up on these shores. Well, in that case, welcome to Clamreach, humorous. What do you do here, Elmed? Are you a fisherman? By Veln's black breeches, no. I'm a pearl diver. I take a deep breath and scour the bottom of the sea for wee silvery beauties. Once a month, I take my catch into the city and sell it. Do you make a lot of money doing that? Ha! No, sir. Would I be living like this if I did? The man shrugs. I'll never get rich, but I don't answer to any lord either. I'm in a charitable mood. You got any work for me? Well, since you ask, last week I was waking up the clams to check their shells and I came upon this strange statuette. Ugly bloody thing, isn't it? Elmed produces a slime-covered figurine made of some porous stone. It looks like 3 tentacles growing up from a rock, twined together. Near the top, each of them sports a round, staring eye. Any idea what it's supposed to be? No. It must be some kind of barbarian thingy. I don't especially like their art, or totems, or whatever you call them. But this thing is especially awful. He looks at the statuette. Something about it gives me the shivers. Don't you people worship one barbarian god, Durain? We do, but that's different. Durain is like, you know, normal. A regular old god. Nothing too weird about him. He looks at the statuette. This thing, on the other hand, just feels alien. You never know. Maybe back in the day, Durain was depicted in the same alien manner. Hey now, choose your words carefully. Durain is not some chaos monster, but a local deity, and you'd be wise to show him some respect. Don't you know the deepest levels of the abyss are reserved for blasphemers? Calm down. What do you intend to do with the figurine anyway? Don't really know. But it could be worth a bit of coin. Why don't you take it and ask around? If you manage to sell it, I'll split the proceeds with you. Is it wise to place your trust in a total stranger? You know, you're right. Give me 100 dinars, then I'm not risking anything handing over the statuette. Manage to sell it to someone, we'll split the proceeds, and I'll return you the bail money. Sound good? Forget about it. The risks are too high, and the benefits are dubious at best. He inspects you head to toe. I guess you're right. Tell you what, take the bleeding thing with no collateral. I'll trust you won't betray me. Elmed gingerly passes you the statuette, as if fearing it might jump out of his hands. Just try and keep a really good price once you find a buyer. I'll personally ask Jolbor the innkeeper for advice. He's one crafty son of a fox. Do you mind if I ask you a couple more questions? Ask away. What can you tell me about the village? It's a fine community, if I do say so myself. It's located near bountiful waters, good for fisher folk, and even better for my humble trade. Not to mention, it has real history behind it. The type of history you can be proud of. I'm no chronicler, however, so I won't spoil any of it for you. Just ask our headman. He has a real gorgeous way of weaving the tale of our founding. Would bring a tear to the most jaded of eyes. Did the barbarians ever come around here and cause trouble? Not in any numbers, no. There hasn't even been a murder by a barbarian here in the last 3 years. Heard anything interesting lately? Never saw 'em myself, but people talk about bands of slave hunters prowling the land. They seek any poor drudges who escape the magic ore mines down south. Though, one must wonder, how could anyone slip away from that place, since he looks around. You know, he gulps. The mines are allegedly guarded by a powerful wizard hired by the Swordhaven authorities. Got it. Now, let's change the subject. I'm listening. Think I need to be on my way. Goodbye. Of course. Stop by any time. Save. Pickpocket. Villager. The peasant woman strolls around mumbling to herself.
Mayhap it's the pox. No, that doesn't make sense. Oh, excuse me, love. Didn't see you there.
What can you tell me about this statuette?
Is that the idol my husband fished up somewheres? To tell you the truth, I'm glad you took it.
She shoots the statuette a quick glance.
Gave me weird feelings, it did.
Weird feelings?
Aye, sent shivers down me spine. You'd best throw it away and attend a dragon fire ritual, too, just to be on the safe side.
Mind telling me what's been plaguing you, aside from a possibly ancient magical artifact?
Oh, it's nothing. Just a foolish riddle told to me by Pigidius the Wise.
She knits her brow.
I can't figure it out, no matter how hard I try.
What can you tell me about this Pigidius fellow?
He's a wandering sage and an important tool of the divines. Some believe the dragon himself made Pigidius into a smelly, haggard old man in order to test our humility. And test it he does. Every single time he strolls into the village.
Why are you so determined to solve this riddle?
'Tis a matter of pride, love. See, after giving me this stumper, Pigidius snatched the eggs I was carrying, as payment for the lesson yet unlearned, he said. Unless I find the answer, it means I've lost a dozen good eggs for naught.
All right. Did you try asking the other villagers?
I did, and they're as clueless as I am, even our Wadalot.
You've piqued my interest. Tell me this riddle.
Are you sure? This one's a real head-scratcher. I don't want you to end up like me, wasting time constantly mulling it over instead of working.
Don't worry about me. Let's hear it already.
Very well, but here's how we'll do it. To avoid becoming obsessed, as I have, restrict yourself to a single guess. Then if we decide you're wrong, forget about the whole thing.
We shall see.
I sit by the babe who doth weep in their crib, as well as the old lord, frail in his keep. I ride to the wounded while the battle still roars, and swim for the seaman too weak for his oars. If you wish to partake of my bitter remedy, but shall I dally, they'll jitter in agony.
It's death, right?
What makes you say that?
Young and old, warriors and sailors, are all stalked by death. Most fear her cold embrace, but when the suffering is too much, some pray for her to come. She furrows her brow before finally uttering,
You're right. You're completely right. Now I'm sure of it. Except that Pejidges did say the answer was a lesson.
She continues to ponder.
Seeing how it's death, I reckon the lesson is to remember that all of us will someday perish and face divine judgment. Hence one should live their life as virtually as possible. That's wise enough to be worth a dozen eggs.
I'm glad I could help.
Here's a little something for you.
She takes a parcel of smoked fish out of her apron pocket. Why she was keeping it there remains a mystery. And then I'm gonna pickpocket you. And then what might be kind of funny is since she doesn't like... I wanted to put the statue back on her. Probably spook her, you know? She'd be like, where did that come from? And I'd be all like, I don't know. And she'd be all like, it's haunted and cursed. Ooh. Oh, there we go. Oh, nothing. That's a bummer. That would have been cool. And then pickpocket. Nope, that's pause. Take the statue back. Gotta take the statue back! Alright, time to bail. Do you guys like it? If you've seen my other videos outside of this playthrough, do you like it better with me being closer to the mic like this, even though it's right in front of the camera, or would you prefer I'm farther away from the mic and it's not in the camera? I mean, it's not like you can actually see my ugly mug anyway, so I figured it doesn't matter. Time for some coffee. Sweet, sweet coffee, except there's no sugar. The wiry woman is toiling at her domestic drudgery, to trudge. That makes me think of A Knight's Tale. Love that movie.
Sorry, but if you're fixing to chat me up, you better find someone less busy.
I see. Do you need any help?
Nay, thank you.
She furrows her brow in contemplation. After a bit of thinking, she says,
Tell you what, speak to me husband Zuva. He's making bows for his own amusement, but if you're interested in that sort of weaponry mayhap, maybe you could peruse his stock. Might just find something to your liking, and for us, every coin helps.
Yes, Zuva told me about that.
Then why are you dilly-dallying with me? Go buy yourself something you don't need. Need. Oh, gods darn it.
By the way, I've been getting acquainted with the locals.
We're simple, lowly folk. I don't believe there's anything interesting about us.
You'd be surprised how many secrets a village like this one can hold.
Secrets? There's no secrets here. It's preposterous to even think something like that.
That begs a few more questions.
And I'd love to answer 'em, hun, but like I said, I'm too busy.
At least introduce yourself.
My name is Danuta. Pleasure to meet ya.
The pleasure is all mine. Farewell.
Stay out of trouble.
Okay, I'm the green dot. So I want to try and head north, I think. There's something up here. Oh, it's just another post. No, I don't need to travel. Oh, this looks like the exit. Is that right? I don't really want to exit. Oh no, this isn't the exit. This is something it's not telling me. Great. I got a big old sword. Yes, I got a big old sword. Can you say, oh my lord, 'cause I've got a big old sword. I bet I could even cross a ford with my big old sword. What is going on with this place? What is this? What's your name, dude? Like, I wish I could right-click on people. Father Hercus. The Wadawat clears his throat before addressing you. Greetings, child. I am Father Hercus, humble servant of the dragon and shepherd of this fine community. How may I be of service? I want to confess my sins. I want to make a wish to the higher powers. After taking the gold, Father Hercus starts rummaging under the altar. He returns to you with a small wooden plaque, a phial of diluted squid ink, and his calligraphy brush. Art thou skilled in the art of writing? If not, I can help for a tiny donation of 7 dinars. It's a rectangular tablet made from pine, with simple drawing of a horse on one side. The other side is meant for writing just about any wish, as long as it's not too grandiose and doesn't harm others. You offend me, Father. Of course I can write. In that case, inscribe your request on the plaque, as tradition dictates. You take the wooden tablet and brush in hand. Now, the question is what to ask for. The gods are fickle, so it'd be wise to seek something relatively simple. Well, let's go with courage. You write your wish, and with a flourish, return the tablet to Father Hercus. I'll burn it during the year-end Dragonfire Festival. Hopefully the celestial powers will pay heed to thy request. But remember, the divines first and foremost help those who help themselves. Do you know what the deal is with Durain, the deity the locals worship? Well, he's exactly as thou described, a deity, or more specifically, a fish god. After all, Durain literally translates to master of fishes from the native Slurium tongue. The people inhabiting these shores have always worshipped him, no matter their origin. What is the dragon cult's stance on this practice? Even during the age of the Holy Wars, when religious fervor was at an all-time high, the cult's attitude towards different gods and spirits was that of adoption rather than condemnation. After all, most divine manifestations are considered to be sparks of the dragon fire. Do you take part in Durain's veneration? My predecessor, the old Wadalot, did. I prefer to observe from a distance, respecting the local customs, but also reminding my flock to honor the dragon god above any god, which they naturally do. What do you know about the barbarian rites? The Slurium revere supernatural entities they call Zahanin Quam. These beings are believed to inhabit all things, including forces of nature, in different prominent sites, caves, groves, lakes, etc. The Zahin Quam are worshipped as household fanes in aforesaid sacred places. There, the rituals are performed by shamans who organize sacrifices to whatever spirit is enshrined in that location. Do you study the natives of Nova Draconia? Forsooth, most locals dislike the Slurium, probably because of the wars, but I find them quite a fascinating subject. Ah, a scholar of barbarians, I see. To a certain extent, yes. Why, do you wish to learn more about them? Such knowledge could prove useful. A commendable attitude. After all, ignorance is blissful only to the ignorant. You might want to visit the Book Emporium in Swordhaven's old quarter. Therein lies a copy of Historia Barbarica by Kangol the Mad. As if anticipating your skepticism, he quickly adds, a bit unorthodox, I admit, but still an interesting read about this often overlooked subject. What can you tell me about Kangol the Mad? Kangol the Mad Prophet, to be exact. He was an astronomer who lived in Swordhaven during the Third Barbarian War around 50 years ago. Before going insane, Kangol mostly wrote treatises about stellar constellations, but also on ancient ruins, magical artifacts, and Slurium tribes. How did he go mad? From what I've read, he started to lose his mind after witnessing the famous comet of 851. He looks up in the calignous night sky over the Gulf of Swordhaven. The comet of 851? As far as I know, the people of Nova Draconia believed it was a bad omen. Forsooth. Most of Kangol's contemporaries reckoned the comet to be a foretoken of doom, but only our ill-starred astronomer fervently studied it for his last few years before departing this life. The father pauses, in quite a mysterious fashion. Mysterious fashion. The father shakes his head. Child, I beg thee to understand. 'Tis all idle bavardage. The dragon's herald, Prophet Surset, wisely forbade us from spreading such frivolous falsities. Look at it as a myth or folktale, father. You said yourself that Kangol lived quite a few years ago, so there's no harm in talking about him. Very well. According to popular tattle, Kangol was ripped to pieces in his own study, which was locked from the inside. The father shrugs. Some say a weird lightning streaked through his window, some a blazing little demon. But mind, that's all common superstition, fable, and legend. No one alive today knows what really happened to the unfortunate scholar. Why are you so hesitant to believe the stories? First of all, most of them are a tad far-fetched. Next, it just doesn't feel right. Master Kangol sounds like an eccentric fellow, but that's not an excuse to turn his life and death into a campfire anecdote. I see. Thank you for enlightening me, Father. You're welcome. Now then, I believe we were talking about barbarian culture. Are there other books about the barbarians? Of course, but ironically, most of them are printed and sold in different lands. I see. Well, thanks for the advice. My pleasure, child. The father thinks it over briefly. Actually, I might have a little something to aid thee further. The father walks away with a spring in his step, returning less than a minute later with a thin hardback. My first Slurium phrasebook. It helped me learn the basics of their tongue. Hopefully it will help thee as well. What can you tell me about this amulet? Oh my, it looks quite magical. But is it good magic or evil? I don't rightly know. Be very careful with this talisman, lest thee accidentally forfeit thine soul. Can I ask a couple of questions? Ask away and let the wellspring of knowledge flow. What are you doing here, aside from preaching? I'm gathering local folktales and myths. I know. Peasant stories and barbarian fables are hardly examples of fine literary tradition. But I hope the novelty of this subject will entice the educated elites of the free imperial cities. What can you tell me about this village? Our quaint Clamsreach, huddled snugly against the rugged coastline. The father smiles. Do not be fooled by its unassuming appearance, for within these shores lie tales as deep as the ocean itself. Legends of merfolk and sea monsters, whispered stories of hidden temples, and lost treasures buried beneath the sandy beaches. I'd love to hear such a tale. In the days of yore, when the land still belonged to the Slurium tribes, a youth fell in love with the sea maid he spotted bobbling in the waves. Oh, how gracefully she swam on her back at sunset, long legs kicking the water, and the songs she sang, how sweet they were. The youth, head over heels, rushed to the beach and called out, "Lady of the waters, wouldst thou be mine?" What happened next? The lass swam to shore and stood up, her body now on full display, bulging eyes, scales, sharp teeth, webbed spines and all. The youth gasped and turned to stone on the spot. "If thou cannot tolerate my fish half, thou do not deserve my human half," said the she-beastie, before diving back into the briny waters. Do you have any rumors to share? About a fortnight ago, on a farmstead not far from the village, an extraordinary event occurred. A calf was born into this world with not one, not two, but 3 heads. Of course, the local peasantry immediately took it as a sign from the dragon. The only thing they cannot agree on is it a good omen or a harbinger of impending doom. I see. Let's move on to something else. All right. Pray tell, what topic dost thou wish to discuss? Goodbye. Safe travels, and may the winds of destiny carry thee to wondrous places. Alright, I'm going to call it there for this episode, but if you want to travel the wings of destiny, be sure to subscribe, because I have 0 subscribers, so you could travel on the wings of destiny and become my first subscriber. Wouldn't that be something? No one else would ever be able to claim that. You could say, I, and I alone, was Humorous's first subscriber, and no one could take that away from you. Not today, not tomorrow, not in 1,000 years. It would be a first just for you. And I'm going to keep playing it, so hopefully you'll come back tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, for another episode. Until then, be excellent to each other, and party on.